Hi there. This is Dr. J. Kent Gregory, and welcome to part one of chapter three, the court system. So we'll hit primarily the high points of the chapter. The chapter uh, presented by the authors is very good and very detailed and gives a very good, extensive background of the court system and how it works. But rather than repeat what they say, I'll just hit the high points. So the constitutional basis of the three branches, uh, you have first the legislative branch. This was created by Article 1 of the Constitution, and its primary job it is responsible for drafting laws. And of course, this is our House of Representatives and the Senate. The executive branch, the presidency, was created under Article 2 of the Constitution and is another name, as they say here, for the office of the president and its related agencies, like the various cabinet departments. Um, then the judiciary, this is created by Article 3 of the Constitution, as well as by various state constitutions and laws. So you have the federal judiciary, and then you have the state judiciary. And obviously, this is the branch of government dedicated to the administration of justice. So to talk about federal judges, and this is fairly interesting, and there we have a picture of the Supreme Court. Um, the requirements to become a federal judge are pretty simple. All you have to do is be nominated by the president, and then you have to be confirmed by the Senate. So it interestingly doesn't say anything about having litigation experience, being an attorney, etc. Now, of course, that's how it works out to be nowadays. But there you have it. The Constitution also guarantees that the judges should be relatively free from political interference by providing them with two things: lifetime tenures, so they're on the court for life once nominated, or until they retire or resign, or in rare cases if they're impeached. And then their salary cannot be reduced. So judicial administration, you have the AO, the administrative office, and this part of the judicial administration is responsible for kind of like the business aspects of the judiciary. So pays the rent for the buildings, payroll, budget, etc. And then you have the Federal Judicial Center, and it's dedicated to conducting research on judicial administration and providing judicial education. And then there's the United States Sentencing Commission, which was created by Congress to explore ways to establish uniformity across all of the federal system in criminal sentencing. The role of the justices in judicial administration, you have the Chief Justice in the United States Supreme Court, and he's the representative, or she in this, or could be she, but historically, I mean, it's always been up to this point a man. And our Chief Justice right now is John Roberts. Uh, uh, he is the representative of the judicial branch to the other branches, and he's the administrative head of the judiciary. And then there are the associate justices. And in the United States Supreme Court, these are one of the 8 regular members of the court. So basically, everybody else but the Chief Justice. And then judicial review. This is an important concept. This is the power of courts to declare legislative or executive acts unlawful. It's a power that rests with each of the more than 800 federal judges, from the trial courts all the way through the appellate courts. The power of judicial review makes the United States Supreme Court the most powerful judicial body in the world. And the Chief Justice John Marshall did not invent judicial review, but he institutionalized it at the United States Supreme Court. And John Marshall had property in Kentucky near Maysville, so upstream of Cincinnati. So something of a Kentucky boy. And then checks on the judiciary. The legislative and executive branches play a critical role in checking the judiciary. The president can control the judiciary by making careful judicial selections, meaning the nominations. The power of the president to name federal judges is absolute, and the president is the primary means of enforcing judicial decisions. So that brings us to the role of Congress. So Congress confirms judicial selections, controls the judiciary through its budgetary process, and determines the organization of the courts and what kind of cases they'll hear. And this is a portrait of Dred Scott, which was an important case in the early 1800s. But I will not go into that because I'm just trying to hit some high points here. But a very important case if you have not heard about it. So the key takeaway, the third branch is the judicial branch, and it's the only unelected branch of government. Uh, and sometimes it seems detached from the American public. Uh, it's composed of federal courts, the administrative office, the federal judicial center, and the United States Sentencing Commission. The Chief Justice has administrative responsibilities, and the judiciary comprises less than 0.2% of the whole federal budget. So it's a very small budget item, interestingly. Uh, Marbury versus Madison established the doctrine of judicial review, which allows courts to determine the final validity of laws as well as the meaning of the Constitution. And it's an important power, and it is used sparingly. The president can check the judiciary through appointments and the enforcement of their decisions. And Congress can check the judiciary through funding, administrative court control of court calendars and funds, and jurisdiction stripping legislation. So that ends chapter one, and chapter one, part one of chapter two.